how excited are you to get this matchup with Georgia? And he's like, well, not very much,
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to My Gotta Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I are joined by Hunter Jones to preview Georgia's matchup with Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. We talk through what we're looking for in the game, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. All right, over under on Should We Be Recordings was met. So hit record.
Smash the over.
For the first ever in-season rematch of Georgia Ole Miss, we also have the first ever in-season twice previewing Ole Miss with Hunter Jones. Hunter, welcome.
Always good to be on.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, this will be the CFP
Quasi Christmas party.
Yeah, the CFP quarterfinal / Christmas episode. I realized that after we did our first round, I was like, oh, we didn't do our Christmas episode. I guess this will have to count, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure when this is gonna come out. For all I know, this may have dropped on Christmas Day. I'm not really sure. Maybe Christmas Eve. But needed to do this a little earlier with holiday schedules and travel schedules and such. So thanks for bearing with me on the schedule, guys. Appreciate it.
I forgive you, Jim.
Thank you.
It's all good.
Okay, let's do the rundown, and then we can dive in. Kind of like how we talked about. Oh wait, do we have a special guest?
Oh, special guest.
Pause for special guest. I jumped the gun.
He's not happy right now.
Hey, buddy.
Say hey.
Hey, Truett. The true
Dad
man.
just got out of the bathtub. He's not happy about it. Oh, don't cry, buddy.
Don't.
Can you tell him, what do you say when you watch ball?
Booba.
Hey,
Oh, no.
it's all right. You gonna get a cookie? Okay.
Yes.
Say, go get a cookie from Mama. Tell him bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Say, go dogs.
Bye-bye.
Man, I should have ran and got Ella to come in for that. Ella is Truett's #1 fan.
Oh, he's crying bad right now.
Do you need to take a break?
No, he's just over. It's past his bedtime, so he's like at that point where he's overtired.
Gotcha. All good. All right, we'll run through we'll do the quick rundown of the matchup. So we've got kickoff Thursday night on January 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 local, at the Caesars Superdome in Nolens. The Dogs coming into this game 12-1, 7-1 in the league. Ole Miss 11. Also 12-1 and 7-1 in the SEC. Dogs are number 3 in the playoff against the number 6 seed Ole Miss. Games on ESPN with Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Laura Rutledge. And the official hashtag that we will forget to use is hashtag Sugar Bowl. The all-time series is now up to Georgia leads the series 34-13-1. Obviously, with the last meeting being earlier this season on October 18th, that the Dogs won 43-35. That's it for the matchup. I know we were kind of texting about this earlier today, a little bit about this matchup and like some of the things and about like Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl, Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, etc. I've got the Georgia stuff. So for Georgia, this is the 13th all-time appearance in the Sugar Bowl. The Dogs are 5-7 in the Sugar Bowl. I thought this was interesting. Since 2019, Georgia is 7-1 in the past 8 bowl / CFP matchups. So pretty impressive streak there for the Dogs. And then on the rematch angle, Dogs still undefeated in rematches under Kirby at 4-0. So that'd be the 2017 Auburn, 2021 Bama, Texas last year, and Bama again this year. And then this is the first ever in-season rematch between Georgia and Ole Miss. This has never happened before, so that was interesting.
Time
Well,
to take him down.
yeah, well, just on the Ole Miss side, 'cause I know we were talking about it earlier. This is Ole Miss's 11th Sugar Bowl. I think they're pretty high up there as far as the conference goes. I think Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss may be the top attendees of this game, and then Ole Miss has 6 wins in their 10 trips so far in the Sugar Bowl. So a winning record in the Sugar Bowl. They're both on a losing streak, though. Georgia lost last year to Notre Dame, and Ole Miss lost in 2022 to Baylor. That was Lane Kiffin's second or third year. Matt Corral was quarterback. He got hurt in the game, and then Luke Altmaier had to come in and play. And shout out to Tony on Wadenson's last Saturday. He's the quarterback at Illinois now, pretty sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounded familiar. Okay, okay.
It does sound familiar.
I did not remember him being in Ole Miss. That's funny. Okay, I knew he had transferred to Illinois. Somewhere I lost track of that. That's funny. Cool.
Did he leave because of Jackson Dart, Hunter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
I feel like I remember talking about him in the past.
okay. Cool. As we're recording early, don't have a Hasties history. Should one come in, and Jason, if it doesn't, all good. I'll insert it or release it separately.
I
But
do
yeah,
have some JP's fun facts.
there we go. Let's hit on.
And they do have some history components to them as well, Jim.
Nice.
Since we previewed these guys before, I figured I would just delve into the history of the Sugar Bowl game
Okay.
itself. So this is some fun facts about the Sugar Bowl itself. So the Sugar Bowl was created in 1935, and it was created specifically by efforts from the sugar industry lobby in Louisiana, which was apparently, and I'm not sure if it still is, under maybe you can shed some light, but the local sugar executives strongly backed the game, and it was one of the few bowl games that was born directly from economic lobbying effort. So the sugar industry in Louisiana was largely the impetus for the creation of this game.
Hmm.
Interestingly, had Tulane won, we would have been playing the owners of this bowl game.
I
Technically, the
was like, you
Sugar
need to
Bowl is
explain.
technically the Sugar Bowl is owned and operated by Tulane University, not the SEC or the NCAA. So it makes it one of the only major bowl games that's controlled by a private university.
Interesting.
Yes, and so there's a couple of reasons for there's a couple of little caveats on that. So historically, this game was played in Tulane Stadium. So when the Superdome opened in 1975, it had a ton of financial and structural skeptics. Like basically, there was a big question mark and illegitimacy of the Superdome back in the 70s.
Mhm.
So the Sugar Bowl moved from Tulane to the Superdome to help, and it helped legitimize the Superdome as a national sporting landmark, and basically helped save it and helped keep it what it's become.
Okay.
Let's see. It is the Sugar Bowl is the second oldest continuously played bowl game, behind only the Rose Bowl.
Hmm.
Unlike the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl has had to reinvent itself over time and has kind of changed things around, whereas the Rose Bowl is very rigid in its traditions, which is kind of interesting considering that, the Sugar Bowl is in the South, and the South is typically very rigid with its traditions. But anyway, a couple of other things. Mardi Gras has also had it's almost canceled the Sugar Bowl in the past. Sugar Bowl struggled to secure hotels and transportation because Mardi Gras preparations were taking priorities. But here we are, still playing the game. Um, the Interestingly, Georgia Tech also was involved in some history here with the Sugar Bowl. In 1956, Georgia Governor Marvin Griffin tried to block Georgia Tech from playing Pittsburgh. Shout out Lamar. because Pitt had an integrated roster. Georgia
Mm,
Tech's president ignored the pressure, and Georgia Tech went on to win the Sugar Bowl, marking a quiet but meaningful civil rights movement in Southern sports. So I thought that that was kind of interesting that Georgia and Georgia Tech specifically um, had a role in some of that from back in the day.
mm,
Some other fun facts. So the Sugar Bowl actually was one of the first bowls to aggressively negotiate TV contracts. So
mm,
the Sugar Bowl itself set a template for how college football would later monetize and package postseason games. And so the Sugar Bowl was one of the first to kind of pave that way, and kind of shaped the modern TV contracts for sporting and sporting events,
mm,
particularly in the college world. A couple other fun facts. Let's see here. Yeah, I thought that this was really interesting. So apparently, the trophy that we know today is not always what the trophy used to be. So back in the day, when it was first originally, conceived, as I mentioned, the sugar industry was very much involved, and they literally had a sugar bowl, like a crystal sugar bowl, and it had a couple of other components like a tray, a serving dish, and all that kind of stuff. And so in the past, these trophies were impractical. So teams didn't even want to try to transport them to their schools, and even when they did, they didn't know what to do with them. Players in some of the eras of the trophies, the players actually didn't even want to touch it because it was so ornate and really more of a decoration item that would sit in the administrative buildings, and players would never really see it again after the presentation.
mm,
And in fact, some of the trophies were so large and fragile that they would leave them behind because they didn't want to deal with the logistics of transporting them back to school. So they
mm.
would actually just leave them in New Orleans.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's pretty much the gist, the quick and dirty couple of things that I just kind of ran through that I thought that that was pretty interesting.
Hmm. A fun fact, since you mentioned Georgia Tech in the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss's first Sugar Bowl appearance was against Georgia Tech, and Ole Miss lost to Georgia Tech in their first Sugar Bowl.
Mm.
Damn Yellow Jackets.
Losing to Georgia teams, a
I
Sugar
was,
Bowl tradition for Ole Miss.
and when was that, Hunter? How that was like a long
Like
time
in
ago,
the
right?
it was in the 50s.
Okay. So it would have been like even when like Tech was still in the SEC is where I was going with that. Sorry.
Let's see. 1953.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. That it was an SEC matchup for that game as well. Cool, man. Let's see. I didn't see like a transcript of Kirby's press conference. There was a video, but so what I generally, as far as like news and notes go, um, thought it was interesting, and I think I got a text actually about this around some of the like the injury updates and such. Because we're hearing like already some hopeful stuff from Kirby
Hmm.
around hopefully get some folks back. So, I mean, there's actually been discussion around Colby Young of late. So we'll see there. But then I think the concerning one is Gabe Harris. So like what's going on with Gabe Harris? He did confirm
Hmm.
that he's been dealing with turf toe. And as we have talked about many times in this podcast, I can attest that turf toe does not feel good. It's also not always a quick healer. So I don't know. We'll see. That one definitely is somewhat concerning. But we'll see. Who knows? I think hopeful to get him back. So we'll see what that means. And then I guess that, honestly, like the big thing, I guess kind of big thing that happened in his press conference was his transfer portal uh commentary around like everyone's announcing I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm entering the portal, and everybody was like, "How about you announce I'm trying to get better?" or something like that. So I don't know. He's I like it when Kirby gets a little feisty and starts talking about stuff like that.
He got pretty feisty in general, talking about the transfers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So he was on one. He was on one. And then today he was at the bookstore because my parents saw him. So
Did they take a picture? Because I want to see this.
there may be photo evidence.
Amazing.
Cool. Um, Hunter, what's going on in like the Ole Miss like news and notes world other than obviously new head coach?
Right. Well, yeah. So the obvious, the departure of Lane Kiffin has it's really kind of the roller coaster of emotions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as it was happening, people were like, "Oh, I don't think he's going to leave," and then you had other people who were like, "He's obviously going to leave because it's Lane Kiffin and it's LSU." And um, immediately after, it was a lot of vitriol and hate. I mean, warranted. I
Yeah.
was one of those people. I mean, you can remember in the group chat, I didn't say very nice things. But I think kind of as it's settled down, there's a lot of people who are very optimistic about the hire of Pete Golding, as well as kind of it's coming out now, and a lot of people say it's sour grapes, and it might be a little bit of sour grapes, but Lane Kiffin, he wasn't it was kind of like you put up with him because he's your guy, and now that he's
Mm.
not your guy, it's like, damn, I'm kind of glad that guy's gone from my place,
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of the feeling that I get a lot from what I'm hearing with Ole Miss now is uh, he wasn't a great guy. They kind of just covered some things up, were willing to put up with some things if he was winning. Um, but he's gone now and it's all coming out. So um, if you hear it on the internet about Lane Kiffin, it's probably true. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
I still can't believe the dog isn't his or wasn't his.
Yep. Yep. And it's like, I mean, it's just another one of the Lane Kiffin things.
Yeah. I did see I saw this on the internet, so it must be true. Wasn't like didn't he get asked about like or this is my interpretation of what I heard was something along the lines of in the first round game they didn't have like the basketball goal to dunk on like for turnovers and stuff and he said something like why would there ever be a basketball goal on our sideline or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about Pete. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pete.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like, Ole Miss went in the complete opposite direction of Lane Kiffin by hiring Pete Golding.
Okay.
Pete Golding is about as Mississippi as you can get. Um, he played at Delta State. He coached at Delta State. He had a coaching stop at Southern Miss before he was at UTSA, and then Nick Saban went and plucked him from UTSA to be the defensive coordinator after Kirby, which that's why Alabama fans say they don't like Pete Golding is because he followed Kirby Smart. They wouldn't
Mm,
like anybody that would follow Kirby Smart. But Nick
right.
Saban would be the first one to say that he was a good coach and he was a good teacher and he was good for their players. And everything that you hear or read about Pete Golding backs that up. Anybody who can get in front of a microphone and talk about Pete Golding will tell you that he's a competitor. He's a ball guy. Like he lives and breathes football. He's not going to be the prima donna. He's not going to be going to. And he said that in his press conference. I'm not going to no damn yoga studios. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, as far as the football side of it, I think it's a good after Lane Kiffin hire as far as, he's not going to do any of the showboaty stuff. He's just going to grind. They're going to practice. He's going to watch tape. He's a big tape guy, like scheme guy. He's a defensive coach. So, the opposite of Lane in that way too. His whole mindset is, and nobody can be Kirby Smart. Nobody is Kirby Smart, but this is about as close to Kirby Smart as Ole Miss could ever get. This is the Mississippi version, the uh, great value. You want to call it great value version of Kirby Smart. This is it.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah,
The Kirkland
yeah, and I
signature.
mean, like I said, he just like Kirby's a Georgia guy. He's a Mississippi guy. He didn't go to Ole Miss, but his wife did, and his wife is like an Ole Miss family. And like I said, he's deep in the state. Like his dad was a high school football coach. His dad was actually a high school football coach in Ocean Springs, where I live and went to high school.
Mhm.
He was down here. I've actually had the opportunity to talk to him. I like Pete. He was down here when I was working at Ocean Springs, recruiting Bray Hubbard. He was the primary recruiter of Bray Hubbard to get Bray to go to Alabama when Pete was the defensive coordinator. He was coming down to our facility pretty much, every other week. Saban was sending him down here, and um, as just like a person, and there's some videos out there. Anybody that wants to go look, like he'll straight up tell you, like he's not shy about who he is. That when he interviewed for the Alabama job, he went to Nick Saban's house, and Miss Terry asked him if he wanted a drink, and he's like, "Hell yeah, give me some Miller Lights,"
Yeah.
and didn't even know that Nick Saban didn't drink. Like he's the Mississippi guy. He'll drink a couple beers after the game. Like you see him at the golf course, he looks like he rolls off the golf course 90% of the time. Like I think I texted y'all when he was recruiting Bray. He rolled up to our game. He came from the Beau Rivage. I don't know if he was staying there or what, but he just had like his golf polo and khakis and big golf visor on, and he's just like, he's about as Mississippi as you can get. You can find him in Tunica, you can find him in Oxford, you can find him on the coast. He'll hang out at the Beau Rivage with you, and then he'll go coach some football.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, hopefully
I
for Ole
I
Miss,
wanted to hate him, but I like him.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hard to hate. And I mean, he starts losing, that'll change, but I think that's kind of everybody.
In the honeymoon period right now, and I think like the way Lane left, I'm sure doesn't hurt the way people feel about Pete Golding. So
Yeah. Well, and then I don't know if y'all saw the story. I don't know if it's true or not, but the night that Lane decided to leave, there was like all these meetings happening at the chancellor's house, and they were there for hours into the night, and the Iron Bowl was happening, and basically Lane had told him, "I'm not staying to be the coach, but let me coach." And Keith Carter, the AD, was like, "No, you're not coaching. If you're the head coach of LSU, you're not going to coach Ole Miss in any kind of meaningful anything," which understandable. I don't know why that was ever even a hot take. It's our biggest
yeah,
rival other than Mississippi State, arguably bigger than Mississippi State, depending on who you ask. And Lane went back to the facility because at that point the Iron Bowl was happening, and he might, he didn't know if he'd have to coach the next game against Georgia in the SEC championship or not yet, pending that outcome. And they're watching the Iron Bowl, and Pete looked over at Lane allegedly and was like, "Why don't you just go ahead and get out of here and get the hell home? This ain't your office no more."
yeah. I feel like I feel like you're not the only person
Amazing.
I heard that from. So for what it's worth, uh, too funny. Well,
Why
yeah.
don't you go ahead and get the hell on home? It's like your office no more.
Oh man. Um, I have a non coaching related question, Hunter, because I didn't check on this. Do you know like Lacey's status? Because I remember like he got hurt in the Tulane game and then came back, but then
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about it. I've been looking. It's he's either going to be fine or it's real hush hush. I think it's more of a precautionary thing and maybe a little bit gamesmanship. Um, Real quiet on the Lacey front so far.
okay, okay, cool, all good. Okay, let's see. I know. So, um, last time or in our last game, there was also a rematch. We kind of went through everything like I guess with a little bit of a different lens. So just kind of thinking like what's the difference between this game and the last time we met? Like what's changed for Georgia? What's changed for Ole Miss? Obviously the coaches have changed for Ole Miss. Um, but I think so, like a little bit of that would probably kind of how we run through this. So, um, for the general stats that we always look at, like net yards per play update and all that kind of stuff, like Georgia's at 0.93, Ole Miss is at 1.43. Also, that was interesting that these teams are both dead, like at zero on the turnover margin. Like the turnover margin is even, same number of giveaways as takeaways. Um, so I guess maybe starting like with the matchup of like Georgia offense between Ole Miss defense has, I will say this, like when Ole Miss came down on the field and scored right as you would think they would against Tulane, I was like, oh man, here we go. But then Tulane started moving the ball, and I think I texted you guys like I forgot how bad the Ole Miss defense is. So I don't know, like obviously only loss all year was at Georgia. Do you know, like Hunter, did you see like much improvement in the defense from there, or are they just outscoring people?
I mean, they did better against lesser competition. Obviously, Mississippi State's terrible. They did pretty good at holding Mississippi State, and I mean, but Mississippi State has a dynamic quarterback. I'll give them that. He's
Mm,
not that great of a thrower, and I think if he was, he could have probably hurt Ole Miss more. He missed a lot of passes, but he could run. Um, that's the problem with Ole Miss, right? They're national championship caliber on offense, but they're, you know, Sun Belt caliber on defense. It
mm,
just, it is what it is. Maybe not Sun Belt, but they're not as good as a championship level team defensively. And I don't know if it's just missed assignments, they're not in the right place, they're missed tackles because they have a good defensive coach. Now, obviously, for this game, he's a little more uh, widespread because he's the head coach now, but um, it's not a coaching thing. I think that they don't match up athletically yet, like your Georgia or your Ohio State type of a championship team. They just don't have that
yeah,
caliber of player across the board. They've got them here and there, but it's just not depth or consistent enough like Georgia has, where you look at the secondary and you got 5 stars and 5 stars and 5 stars. That's not what Ole Miss has.
gotcha, gotcha. Um, I know like this was the game. The first matchup was the game where Kobe Young got hurt. I don't know, like John, what do you anything I don't know like different this time to last time around that you're looking for as far as like our offense or defense?
I mean, this very much feels like first to 30 wins. So for Georgia, I feel that most likely sets up in the sense of protect the ball, win the game, like we talked about. So, if we're not throwing interceptions, turning the ball over, fumbling, all those kinds of things, then I think that we'll be fine. Like we just need to stay on schedule because I think that we'll get some stops out of them. They're going to put points on the board. I think that Chambliss is going to be able to put some yards on us, but by and large, I think that it's ultimately going to be a situation where Gunner just needs to manage the game and not press the ball down the field.
Yeah, I agree, and everything that I hear from the Ole Miss side is the same thing. I stay pretty plugged into their podcast and their media as well, and that's what they're saying is their best shot at this game is to get some turnovers. They know Georgia's going to score. They know that Georgia can score on them. The goal is to outscore Georgia and get Georgia to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
That's the recipe to win.
Yeah, Pete Golding had a pretty good line where someone was asking me, he's like, "Well, I hope we can get them to punt at least once this time."
Hmm
So we could do.
I would love for us to take the game over and just, throw the, you know, put your knee down on their throat and just choke them out the entirety of the second half kind of thing. But um, I, you can never count out. You can never count out the Ole Miss situation. I mean, I guess that they're largely untested without Lane. I'm curious to see what their offense does against the defense that's been. I mean, we have effectively rendered, new, basically neutered Georgia Tech's offense. We neutered Alabama in the SEC championship. This will be the third offense that Kirby's going to have an opportunity to just completely shut down.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think that's the biggest difference to me in the first matchup to now is that was really the turning point, I think, for Georgia defensively. Like that
Mm,
game was where it was all right. Our season is basically on the line. We have to get stopped here, and we got 2 stops at the end of the game. And from there on, we've seen what we now know is our normal for Georgia's defense, right? What we think it should be. They've been back to that. So how does that translate into the second round against Ole Miss? I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game like it was because Georgia is that much better, I believe, defensively. Now, I do think Ole Miss can do some things. They have players that are capable of doing some things, but if Ole Miss can't run the football, it's over.
mm,
Like
yeah,
right.
that's just plain and simple. For Ole Miss to win this game, we're talking about I mean, I'm sorry to get off the rails here, but I know you wanted to go offense, defense. Ole
Oh,
Miss
we
has to
can.
get,
I feel like we've moved to the defense, and that's fine.
yeah, Ole Miss has to get turnovers, and then
Mm,
Ole Miss has to run the football.
yeah,
If Ole Miss can't run the football, it's over.
yeah, and I mean, if that's where to me, like the health of Lacey is really a big deal and key there. But also, okay, so for both of those things, I agree with both. Hunter, I definitely agree. Like that was the turning point for the Georgia defense. And then John, you're talking about like the recent games. In the last four games, which by the way, three of those last four games for Georgia were against top 25 opponents. We've only given up two touchdowns and five field goals, and we've forced 39 punts with five interceptions and nine sacks. So like the junkyard dogs have like reemerged, and it's been a heck of a turnaround from what we were seeing earlier in the season.
Mhm. It's frozen.
Jasper.
But like, and that's what I would say is Ole Miss, their strength is their ability to make big plays, right? Have the quarterback make big plays. But they have when they are rolling, they can run the football. I don't know that there is a path to success like there was in Athens. Ole Miss didn't run the football in Athens.
Mm-hmm.
They just they were able to take advantage of what I believe an inexperienced at the time, hadn't grown up yet, Georgia secondary of young players. They took advantage of it and they almost won, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They grew up when they had to. They got two stops to end the game. Now you have a full on mature Georgia defense with those guys. I just don't see a path for Ole Miss to have any success if they can't run the ball too.
Yeah, and I've also kind of been thinking about like so not only this Ole Miss matchup versus last year, but also we played in this game a year ago, right? So Georgia in the Sugar Bowl again, in this same scenario where you're SEC champions, you've had the longer layoff than your opponent. But a couple of things that I was thinking about from that is like I think an advantage for Georgia this year as opposed to playing Notre Dame last year in the Sugar Bowl is this year, like let's face it, we knew the opponent was going to be Ole Miss. Where last year, heading into the playoff, you didn't know whether you were going to see Notre Dame or Indiana. We knew who the opponent was going to be the whole time, so I think we've had longer to prepare. So I think that's an advantage. Um, and then, I mean, also frankly, like with everything that went on in New Orleans last year, New Year's Eve, and then with Kirby's dad, passing away, and like during the game, didn't know, how his dad was doing. I think that all of that, I think probably played an even bigger role. Like I know we know it was a big thing, but I'm sure it was even bigger like than we can comprehend. So I don't know. I'm just that's making me not as worried about like like repeat of last year kind of thing.
Yeah, Kirby Smart is. I think I tweeted or texted you guys. Is he 28 and 3 when he's had more than 10 plus days to prepare for an opponent?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. So yeah, like the odds there.
I don't know where I lost you guys because I know I broke up at some point.
uh, when I rattled off the defensive stats and you were reacting and you froze. So for those watching on the YouTube, they're gonna get to see you in your pose for a while.
I mean, I was just like it was like that meme of Shannon Sharp where he's like he's got the Mountain Dew and it's like woo.
Yeah.
like like
Uh,
you're what you were just talking about the last four games with the way that we've performed from a defensive standpoint. It's just like golly, inject that defense into my veins. And people have been asking me, I've got buddies at church and everybody's been saying like, hey, what do you think Georgia, what do you think their chances are this get to the national championship and all that? I'm like, dude, if that team that showed up against Alabama shows up the rest of the way, like you're all screwed.
right, right, agreed. I don't know, anything else on any of those matchups before we hit the special teams?
No, I
Like,
don't think so. I mean, I think that like I said, I think Hunter said it the best. Like Ole Miss's hope is that they can run the ball against a defense that has showcased that it can absolutely stop the run from some elite run teams. And they have to hope that we turn the ball over when we have not been doing so.
yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed.
Hope is not a strategy, my friend.
That's right. That's right.
No. But I would say I do want to point out a key player. I think he can be a huge, uh, you know, I don't know what a good word is it for. He's definitely a weapon, and that's the Ole Miss tight end. There was a couple. Daquan Wright is his name. There was a couple plays, if I'm recollecting correctly. Jim, you're the guy for this, so check me on it. But
Oh, here we go. I'll try.
he he those drives where they didn't score,
Hmm.
he was open across the middle, and Trinidad hit him in the feet.
Yeah, yeah,
Early downs, and it got him behind the sticks. It got it to where Georgia could pin their ears back and come after him. If he makes accurate throws, I don't know that we're talking about the same thing we're talking about right now because he was open, and
yeah,
he is always like that across the middle. You saw him, he hit Tulane for a couple big plays across the middle like that. He's a big guy with the dreads. Um, just put a pin on that. Watch out for the tight end across the middle for Ole Miss because if they can start hitting that, then that's kind of what opens up that run game for them because you got to worry about him sneaking behind you while you're worried about coming up. If you're talking about linebackers now, obviously Georgia's got the D line talent to nix that, but
yeah,
Yeah, I think that a big pivot between the two games is that we've somehow developed depth throughout the remainder of the season since that game. So like there's no telling like who's gonna be the standout star. Like, we have the no-name defense now.
yeah, yeah. We really do. And I don't know too, like in the first game, whether like if the environment eventually got to Chambliss. I mean, he was a different guy first half and second half of that game. So I don't know. Could have been the environment. Could have just been the defense. Stepped up and got there. Which on that, I don't know. I mean, this is obviously a closer game for Ole Miss. I'm curious what the crowd's going to be like.
oh, they're gonna come out. Ole
Yeah,
Miss is gonna have a big crowd. This is
yeah,
like their favorite game to play in too, as far as a postseason venue and a destination. Like this is the destination for Ole Miss fans.
yeah, yeah. I mean, makes sense. Makes sense. Kind of what I figured. Okay. All right. I did have just a couple of things.
Well, plus it's only a couple of hours for you guys in Mississippi, right?
But yeah, how far? I mean, it's very close for you, Hunter.
Oh yeah, it's like New Orleans is about an hour and a half. It's like an hour and a half from my house here in Ocean Springs. Um, it's about five and a half hours
It's
from
like an
Oxford.
hour, right?
Um, but there's a lot of coast rebs that are going to be making the trip. And Ole Miss people are excited, and I can't, I,
Yeah, there's a lot of reps.
the Ole Miss side of me is excited too, but the Georgia side of me is like, yeah, well, the team that you're about to play is not the same play, but for the Ole Miss fans and the Ole Miss perspective of this game is this is the best season in Ole Miss history, pretty much.
Right.
And it's Ole Miss against the world. Like after Lane Kiffin did what he did, they're all in on Pete Golding. They like Pete Golding. They want to see him succeed, obviously, but it's that chip on the shoulder is that much more. And they still did have the undefeated home record this year, first time ever. They won 9 games at
Hmm.
home. Um, it's been the dream season, and the Sugar Bowl is now the opportunity to right the only wrong of the season. And in the Ole Miss perspective, they were every bit in that game, and they were every bit in that game in Athens until the fourth quarter. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they there's a belief that this is the chance to continue the dream season into the playoff, right that one wrong, and continue moving through the playoff as the best Ole Miss team in history.
You said that, Hunter, and I had to like go look at the schedule and start counting. Like 8 home games in the regular season, and then plus a playoff game, 9 games at home. That is kind of wild. We need that schedule,
Hmm.
but I digress. Okay. Um, my special teams nugget was just a reminder that punter Oscar Bird is Australian, so they do take special teams seriously. But we do have Ray Guy Award winner Brett Thorson on our side, so don't forget that. And then just my general thing was like, I don't know, could there be another big swing special teams play in this game, like we saw in the SEC championship? So we'll just have to watch out for that. All right, you guys want to hit the listener questions?
Yes.
All right, let's do that. As we head into that, just a reminder to everyone: the listener questions are presented by Working Web Media. They helped us redo our website, so you can head over to mygodapodcast.com to see some of their work. Um, and then just if you have, you've got a small business yourself, need some help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs, and they will know that we sent you their way. All right, as always, we're going to start it off with the Belding bonus from Brett Belding, TM, TM, TM. One, how would you structure the playoff to include more on campus games and keep the New Year's Six Bowls happy? I think that's probably kind of hard to do both. But I mean, I don't know. My thing is what I would like to do is just flip flop it because I think if you're a top four seed, you should get that home game. And those first round games maybe are at the bowl sites, and then the quarterfinals are on campus. I don't know though that the New Year's Six type bowls are going to fly, or that would fly with them and not be on New Year's Day. I think that's probably the issue. So that's where it gets tough. The other thing is, though, I feel like the bowl pool has shrinked so much now. Like, you don't make the playoff, you're not in a big bowl. Like there's no opportunity to be in a big bowl anymore. And that's, I think, how we end up with like Notre Dame not like taking their ball and going home.
Everybody packing up their football and going home.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like maybe they should just be regular bowls again. Like, I don't know. That's my take, but no one's going to listen to that.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to figure out a way to reward the teams that win their conferences with more than just time to get ready for a game.
I agree. I
Like
agree.
time is great and time is money and all that kind of stuff, but like, and we've had opportunity. I mean, you got we're talking about Colby Young potentially coming back, and that's great and all, but I don't know that that's enough value for money. You know, I don't know if that's enough value for me to say, yeah, I'd rather have that all that time versus another home game, which I feel like the universities themselves would prefer to have the extra home game to, have the economic impact and all that kind of stuff. I mean, could you imagine if we were like playing a game on campus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to that point, that the home game is the answer for the reward. Ole Miss hosted the first playoff game in Mississippi, like the state of Mississippi history, obviously. And the economic impact on the university and for Oxford was estimated between 70 and 75 million dollars in revenue for the area. And it's the biggest day in Ole Miss football history on campus in the state. Like,
Yeah.
I know
yeah,
obviously, Georgia's a higher level of a program with more sustained success than that, but that's the kind of thing you're talking about when you're talking about a playoff game at home, right?
Yeah.
You're rewarding, that's the reward that everybody wants, and that's the one that would actually be a reward to get.
yeah.
And
It
Ole
seems
Miss like
like
set a Santa Claus hat record or something. So there's that too.
Yeah, they set a Guinness World Record of most Santa Claus hats worn in a at one time in one venue.
oh wow, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss is like the living example. Like before the season, Jim and I have been talking about like third place in the SEC is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
They are the living embodiment of everything that we talked about, where you came in third, you didn't have to play in the SEC championship, you are rewarded with a home game. And not only are you rewarded with a home game, but you're rewarded with a team that we knew before the season even started that you're going to be playing probably some box team, which ended up being Tulane, and y'all were way too much for them.
Yeah, I mean, you got a team you beat by 5 scores when you played them in
And
September.
Right. Seriously.
right,
Um,
like
yeah. All right. Let's see. Brett's second one was besides the 1981 Notre Dame game, what is your favorite Sugar Bowl? I've got to go with the one that I went to. So I'm going to go the 2002 season, uh January New Year's Day 2003. Uh the first Sugar Bowl right after we won the SEC championship. So like Mark Richt, David Green, Dave Pollock, those guys.
I'm gonna go with probably this one, just because it's the first one that I've been to because I'm going to the game,
Let's
and
go.
I'm taking Carter with me.
Yeah, I've not got a good record of attending Sugar Bowls. Um, I've been to 3 Sugar Bowls, and I have one win and two losses. I went to the Sugar Bowl when I was in college, when Ole Miss played Oklahoma State, and we had Chad Kelly as quarterback, and we won. And then I went to the Sugar Bowl when Georgia played Texas. That was
Mm.
not fun. And then I went to that Sugar Bowl when Ole Miss played Baylor and Ole Miss lost.
Mm.
So, yeah, none of those are my favorite.
So what I hear you saying, Hunter, is that what I hear you saying is that you have a 60 something percent chance that Ole Miss loses every time you go to the bowl
Right,
game.
right. Well, yeah. So, and I'm going to this Sugar Bowl, so we'll see what happens.
Omens, omens. All right, let's head over to John Michael D. He says he said first, does this count as a rematch with Lane gone? LOL. I would say yes. Um, he said the little stitious part of me thinks this game may actually mean more to Kirby than any other game to date or any to come. We're on a voodoo killing streak, so what better time to add another victim? Um, yeah, and I'm assuming John is referring to avenging the last year's Sugar Bowl loss. So I would think so too.
Agreed.
Let's see, 51-7 GATA. How odd is it that last year the Dogs played Notre Dame while Brian Kelly sat in Baton Rouge, and this year the Dogs play Ole Miss while Lane Kiffin sits in Baton Rouge. I also believe this game will feel like it's a road game more than a neutral site. So I guess Hunter, we kind of probably hit that last part.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Yes.
is funny that we're playing the team that has left, the coach has left to go to. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say it makes me happy a little bit to know that LSU has turned into such a program lately. There are very few things that make me happier in life than to see LSU be down and down bad. They take their little win here lately, stealing away Lane Kiffin and yada yada, paying more money, whatever. He's not the guy for LSU. I don't believe it. They needed somebody the opposite of Lane. Lane is a prima donna, social media guy, and they're not gonna when he starts losing, they're not gonna like that in Baton Rouge, and they're gonna run him out of there in 2 or 3 years, just like they ran everybody else out. And I'm gonna love every minute of it. There's a lot of hatred for the purple and gold when it comes to my way. So. Uh,
Dude, I have to say that the stories that I've heard coming out of Ole Miss with him leaving, like there's this one chick that like is in charge of like the skyboxes at Ole Miss that's on TikTok. Like her stories are absolutely wild.
I've She is also in my algorithm. I've seen this.
I've also seen this. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, go to hell, LSU.
Well, let's just wait until I don't know the stuff is still out there around DeBoer in Michigan. So who knows? There's no telling. DeBoer goes to Michigan and then Lane goes to Alabama this offseason.
Hey, can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
So
I would
good.
love to see DeBoer leave Alabama. Like the meltdown that would happen in Alabama, like who are they gonna hire? Like who are they go to?
Kiffin. That's what I'm
Oh man, that would be even more amazing.
saying.
I don't get it. I don't get why you pay that man mo the money that he's making. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
But
No.
yes, 51-27 GATA. It will feel probably like a road game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Let's see. Fresh IRC podcast at SS Too Fresh. Biggest items to discuss: motivation after last year's Sugar Bowl and team health heading into the stretch run. Um, I guess we probably covered this. Um, I don't know. I get actually one thing on the health that we didn't talk about before. I am like Bowens on offense, Chauncey Bowens. I'm curious to see what goes on there because I feel like he didn't play a ton in the SEC championship game. He looked a little rusty, and then he got like dinged up at the end. But I know Kirby said like it wasn't like I think it was like he landed on his back funny or something. But man, if we have a healthy Chauncey Bowens here, um, big bonus. So I know we're not going to have
Hmm.
like Drew Bobo or anything, but I think Tolliver held his own in the SEC championship. So
Agreed.
let's see. Let's go to Herman Wood. What did I learn? He says, "What did I learn from rewatching the first half of Georgia versus Ole Miss?" The Dogs line is healthier now. We've adapted to Colby Young being out. We've been playing better defense with more pressure and getting home, and our defensive backfield has improved. What did I miss? Um, I rewatched that game this week. I think that pretty much covers it. Um, I think I guess like on the side of like what our defense did, like with the more pressure and getting home, etc. I think there was definitely a difference in Chambliss, like we said earlier, a difference in Chambliss between the first half and the second half. Um, so I don't know like how we were able to affect him. I thought that was a big deal. Let's go to Fletcher Proctor. Gunnar was fantastic the first time, but if he has a Buck Baloo line in the Sugar Bowl, while 3 and 33 play the role of 34, I'd be good with that. Run it down their throats, play keep away, and get ready for Kirby to end Beck's having fun again. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the potential next matchup, probably, possibly, when we get to the pick segment. I don't see. I Well, I don't disagree. I do not see Gunnar having a Buck Baloo Sugar Bowl stat line.
I don't see that either.
Um, I don't know. While we're on Fletcher's question, basketball minute, dude,
Another 100-point game.
another 100-point game. I know it was West
Them hoop
Georgia, but
dogs as hell.
them, dude, yeah. What's the Dunk Yard Dogs? I think is one of
The
the things
Dunkyard
they say.
dogs.
Yeah. Set the uh all-time single season 100-point game record for Georgia basketball this week. So
And how like we're not even like
yeah, yeah, we're talking like season record, and we've still got I believe there's one more non-conference game.
I was
So
gonna say like we're not even like halfway through the season, right?
right, right. I'm double checking
Okay.
the schedule here, and yes, that is correct. So we've got one more non-con game against LIU. I believe that's Long Island. So we've got them on the 29th. And then we'll be off through the new year, picking back up against Auburn at home on January 3rd. So
Mm.
if you're back from the Sugar Bowl and you're around, uh, go check out the Hoop Dogs and see them take on Auburn on January 3rd. They are fun. All gas, no brakes. Fun team to watch. All right, let's see. Next was just a statement, but I still wanted to call us out. So Scarlett O'Hader, she just said "Go Dogs." I had to pause because like that is a fantastic handle. So I just wanted to say shout out
Yes.
for your great handle for Scarlett O'Hader.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, and then friend of the show Tim Riley. So Tim says praying for a safer Big Easy trip for all this time. Tim said he will not be attending. I know he was down there last year with the fam. Checking stats, believe this is the first rematch for Kirby in which the Dogs won the first contest. How does Kirby manage this? Turnovers and special teams have been key. Will the dog win? Will the Dogs win both phases? So yeah, I rattled off all those rematches earlier, and that is correct. It's a first rematch for Kirby in which the Dogs won the first. Actually, so no, not not true, because Texas last year. So Tim, if that makes you feel any better, we did beat Texas twice last season, so it would be the second time we've done
That's why you're making the big bucks in this podcast, Jim, because you
that.
remember these things.
Yeah, the best is how like I agreed, then I was like, wait, no, disagree.
Yeah, no, no. Abort, abort.
Oh man. And I read all these ahead of time too, and I still I still do that. So yeah, so Tim, you can rest easy knowing that this has happened before. Uh, Last year we beat Texas in both instances. So
There are things to be a little stitious about. That is not one of them.
right, right, agreed. Um, okay, so will the Dogs win both phases? What do you think? First off, I've got to correct Tim. It's all three phases. So
Agreed, agreed.
let's not forget about the special teams. Um,
You mean SEC champion and SEC for JP anyway, MVP Brett Thorson.
oh, man, that's right. Look, man, and you know, you got payday going, so
Yeah, payday, exactly. One of the most underappreciated kickers in recent UGA history.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. All right.
Got Hunter back.
Hunter's back.
Yes,
Hunter,
I'm back.
we just wrapped Tim Riley's question.
Sorry about that. True was having a little meltdown upstairs when he's supposed to be sleeping. So
Poor guy. Poor
It's all good,
guy.
man. It's
He
all
wanted
good.
to
everybody,
he wanted to record.
yeah, well, everybody's coming into town for Christmas, and like my father-in-law just got here this
Ah,
afternoon, and we made tacos, and my parents came over, and
ooh.
everybody was at our house, and so he's like fired up, wanting to play and do all things, and but he's tired, and so he's like to that point where he's like a little walking zombie who just cries because
Too
So
funny.
he's having a Shannon Sharp moment.
yeah.
Did
uh,
you do a white people taco night or did you do like steak tacos, fajitas? Like
Oh
what did
no,
you do?
like I did it legit. Like I went to Rouse's, which was a madhouse today. Like don't recommend going to the grocery store today or tomorrow or anytime soon. But uh I got some like some chicken, boneless chicken thighs, and I marinated them for about 5 hours in a
Mm.
marinade of lime juice, olive oil, paprika, cumin, cinnamon, and chili powder, and I grilled them on the grill, and then I chopped them up and then put lime juice on them after they were grilled. And then that's what we did on the tacos. I sauteed up some onions and bell peppers and put some taco seasoning on that. Lettuce, tomato, fresh cut, all the deal.
Love
nice.
it. Now I'm
Nice.
hungry.
Too good. All right, we got one more. I'll say batch of listener questions.
Oh my God! My God, a freshman. Trying to put glasses on it.
1980 rule, brother.
It is time for coaches over unders, Sugar Bowl edition. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think I am still in a slight lead. So we'll alternate between John and I going first, and then Hunter, we'll get your picks as well. Um,
Yes.
okay. I guess I'll go first. So we're starting off with the offense, over under 225 passing yards for one Gunnar Stockton. I had intended to look what he did in the first game and I didn't, but I'm just gonna say over.
Mm. I'm gonna go under, Jim.
Okay. Okay. Hunter, how about you?
I I was terrible at this looking back at the last one. I was I was like 100% sure we were gonna see that like Georgia like puts a chokehold on them. It's an
Mm.
ugly, you
Oh yeah, yeah.
know, close score, but it never feels like it's close. And then they just kind of pull away at the end game. It was not that at all, obviously. So, like, I don't even know. I'll say over just because he's playing a lot better.
Okay.
He seems to be getting better as the season's been going. So, over.
Okay. All right,
It's a
JP,
I
over to
like
you.
it.
fast track in New Orleans too. So,
Okay. Okay. See, there's the intel we need. JP, over to you on over under 1.5 rushing touchdowns for the Georgia offense.
I'm gonna go over, Jim.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you. A, because I agree, and also B, to hold you at arm's length. And finally, over under 55 receiving yards. Oh, wait. Hunter, over under 1.5 touchdowns for Georgia offense.
way over.
Okay. I agree. And then I'm going to say over on this Zachariah Branch, 55
Ooh.
receiving yards. JP?
All right, so you got the over. I'm gonna go. I'll go over.
Definitely over. And
Okay.
we all watch Ole Miss play Tulane. They're susceptible to the passing game. He's gonna have a big game.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. All right. So JP, we're over to you on the defensive side. So over under 285. I almost had to go trying to put glasses on it. Need to get my glasses. 285 yards passing for Trinidad Chambliss.
Mm. That's a lot of yards, Jim.
Mm.
I want to say under. But I was just trying to do a quick because I didn't look at these.
He had 263 in the first game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also gonna go under. Hunter, it sounds like you're an under.
Yeah, I don't expect the same kind of offensive output that they had in that game. So
Okay.
definitely under. He didn't get it then. He ain't getting it now.
Okay. Forced turnovers over under 1.5. Man, that would be delicious. To have 2 turnovers for Jordan this game. Oh God, that's a lot. I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna go over just to
God,
try
that's
to
so many.
try to catch up.
I hope to be wrong. Hunter, how about you?
Under.
Okay. And then sacks over under 2.5 GP.
I'm gonna go over, Jim.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with that. Hunter, what do
I'm
you think?
gonna yeah, I'm gonna agree too because even those ones where he runs around and looks like he might get back to the line of scrimmage, but then he doesn't get back to the
Mm,
line of scrimmage, still count as sacks.
okay.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be the one where they knock him off his feet, in the pocket.
Right.
I'll take
Right.
those too.
uh, um. All right. So, me. Sorry, I'm counting on my hand. Uh, Ole Miss punt returns over under zero point 0.5. So we've gone back to the will anyone return a punt? I'm gonna say the Ray Guy Award winner does not. I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna also say under, Jim.
Okay,
Same.
under. Okay, okay. And then last one, JP, you kick us off with this one. Over under for the miscellaneous. Over under 7.5 mentions of Lane Kiffin on the broadcast.
Smash the over.
Dude, 100%. It's gonna be like nonstop. Here's my question.
Unfortunately.
So, Hunter, I have a question for you. When I saw this, I thought about this. Is there any chance Lane is there?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know.
Bro, that would be some grade A
That's a
trolling if
really
he was
good
in the
question,
if he was in the
actually.
stands.
I don't know that anybody that has affiliated with Ole Miss would let him come anywhere near
Yeah.
their part of it. Um, how good of a relationship does he have with Kirby Smart? Would Kirby let him come?
Oh
I mean,
my
I could
gosh.
absolutely see him in a skybox somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering, like, what are the odds we get like a crowd shot that has
Yeah.
Lane in it? That's kind of what I was thinking, like some kind of suite, some kind of box. And I'm not saying he's there, like, he's obviously not going to be there, like authorized by Ole Miss or anything, but just considering games in Louisiana, he's the head coach at LSU now. I don't know. I feel like there's a chance.
There's a non-zero chance that he's
Like,
at this game.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
definitely a non-zero chance. I mean, he's actively recruiting Ole Miss players who are still playing using coaches that are still in the facility. Like
yeah, yeah.
there's no rules anymore in this, boys. We don't have any. There's no guideline. There's no love lost. Like he'll do anything.
Yeah, I was about to say he is a trident supporter of the PT Barnum. No press, any press is good press.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like he's God, I hate him and I hate LSU so much. Ah, like he's actively like I was listening to a LSU guy on the radio the other. I just happened to hear it because like we live down here, right? And he was talking about how the Lane Kiffin for like the last however 2 or 3 weeks, his sole job that he's been doing and that he's had his staff doing is figuring out how much money it's going to take and how much they can allocate and which players specifically on the current Ole Miss roster can we pay and get to come? Like,
Hmm.
part of me is like, you really LSU, like you're that down bad that your best and next hope is to steal literal Ole Miss players? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, too, like that's where. Oh man, I kind of feel like the in-conference transfer rule wasn't a horrible thing, but whatever.
yeah, well, we need a commissioner who actually has a set of balls on him. That's what I think.
Right, right.
You and Josh.
Yeah, yeah. You and Josh, you need to go have a podcast with Josh. I'll talk about that. All right. Hey, shout out Coach Drill Bill. Thank you as always for sending those in, and tracking them for us as well. Much appreciated always. All right, let's get to our game predictions for this game. So went through all the stuff we look at. So on went out to Odd Shark. The line is currently at Georgia -6.5. With an over under of 56.5. That would give you an implied score of Georgia 31.5 to Ole Miss 25. Oddshark actually has Ole Miss. Their predicted score actually has Ole Miss winning, roughly by a touchdown. They've got Ole Miss 39.8 to Georgia 33.8. Parker Fleming's CFB graphs has this like at a field goal game. Georgia winning 27.79 to Ole Miss 24.6. And then our scoring impact is basically just like that. So we've got Georgia 29.26, Ole Miss 26.11. I'm trying to remember. Do we do like guest honors and Hunter goes first or do we go first?
No, Jim, we're gonna do just like the over-unders. You and I are gonna go like normal,
And then we'll go Hunter. Okay.
then we'll go
Okay.
Hunter. Yeah.
He's not superstitious, just a little stitious.
Just a little stitches. um
No, I don't want to. I don't want Hunter to give away any
okay, no
insights.
intel. Okay,
I'm
okay.
trying to catch. I'm trying to catch this guy.
That's true. So I'm gonna go back to kind of what I said earlier. Like I do feel like, and we even had folks asking about this in the listener questions. It's kind of like last year's Sugar Bowl to this year. I think there was so much going on outside of the game last year. Also, that was Gunner's first ever start was in that last year, and I think we were having to adjust for that as well. So Gunner obviously in control of this offense now, and this team has just getting better and better. And I think we're peaking at the right time. So I'm going to say Kirby Smart continues his streak of winning rematches, and I've got Dogs 35 to 24.
Ooh, I've got 38-24, Jim.
Ooh, nice. All right, Hunter, what are you thinking?
This game, I feel like this is a hard game to predict just because there's a lot of unknown about Ole Miss. Like obviously we saw them play against Tulane, but like let's be real, it's Tulane. And you're at home, like I don't know what Ole Miss realistically looks like under Pete Golding.
Hmm.
I don't even know who's called. I guess Charlie Weiss called Junior calling the plays, or was it just this one game alone that he called the Tulane game, or is he going to stay through the whole playoff? Like I don't. Maybe I just haven't seen it. But I saw LSU posted on Twitter like yesterday that they're officially announcing him as their offensive coordinator. So, I mean, we all
Okay.
knew it was happening, but they're starting to post the coaches, and it's like almost all of the offensive staff is going to LSU.
Yeah.
I just, even with all that said, if that was not the case, I can't bet against Georgia. They're like you said, they're peaking at the right time. And that's something we've been talking about. I feel like for the last couple of weeks, Georgia has just kind of been trending up every game. And after they absolutely demoralized Alabama the way that they did in that SEC championship game,
Hmm.
all the past demons be damned, just destroyed them. I don't see Ole Miss winning this football game. I think it'll be close. Ole Miss has good players. They're explosive on offense. Um, it's going to be a really, really cool environment. It's going to be amped up. Ole Miss is amped up. I mean, like I said, they feel like this is their shot to right the one wrong of the season, of the best season ever.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin leaving them has put the chip even more squarely uh, on the shoulder. Like it's Ole Miss versus the world, and I feel like a lot of the country, like my dad is an Alabama fan, and he's like, I'm rooting for Ole Miss. Sorry, I love coming to Georgia with you, but like after Lane Kiffin did what he did, I want to see Ole Miss win in spite of what happened to them. And I feel
Right.
like a lot of people have that mentality about it, and I feel like the team is kind of feeding off of that internally too. And I think it's going to be close, but Dogs 34, Ole Miss 21.
Okay. I mean, on that
Hunter, we're
note,
gonna add your dad to the prayer list.
yeah. I feel like that is mm, Tulane is one thing. I think it's too much to overcome, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
like,
this
and I
this
get it.
this isn't just some old team. Like this is the perennial team in college football now. Like
Yeah.
Georgia is, the haters can hate it, but they are the standard. They have the best coach in the game. They have the best program. They have the best development in the game right now. They
Yeah.
are, and Pete Golding even said it. They are the pinnacle. They're the perennial program right now. He's not excited about playing them. He said it immediately after winning.
Yeah.
How
Right.
excited are you?
Right.
And literally, the girl was like, "How excited are you to get this matchup with Georgia?" And he's like, "Well, not very much, you know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got the picks in. Let's talk about the other playoff games here briefly. So we'll do coaches pick'ems for those games. So I've got these just like in the order of when they are played. Um, so first game you got number 10 Miami taking on number 2 Ohio State in the Peach Bowl. That is a 7:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN on New Year's Eve. And I know I think one of the first times when we said, should we be recording? We were talking about this before we hit record around like, I still feel like Georgia should have been the number 2 seed and not Ohio State. And can you imagine if we had been and we were in this matchup, um, Georgia in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Eve against Carson Beck would have been, I mean, that would have been, that's the storyline that I feel like people would have wanted, but whatever.
Hmm.
um, Okay, so I wouldn't mind getting to play Carson Beck. Should we advance and then seeing that matchup? But Ohio State's a 9.5 point favorite. I gotta go with Ohio State. I think they're gonna be too much.
Yeah, I have to go with Ohio State as well. I think Carson Beck is gonna get absolutely rocked in this game. It wouldn't surprise me to see game.
Yeah, my gut's telling me Ohio State. I would like to see, I don't like Ohio State very much either. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all to see Miami beat them. And Miami's got some talent. I think, especially on the defensive line, they can make a big difference in this game. Those are some talented rushers they've got. One of them has a really cool name. His last name is Bain. Um,
Yeah.
but the other part of me is like, we all know what Carson Beck is, and when it comes down to the clutch time, I think he just might throw an interception or two.
I totally agree. I'm with you. So the only flip side of it is Ohio State New Year's Eve in the Peach Bowl. What could go wrong? So if it does come down to a last minute field goal for Ohio State, then my confidence my confidence dips there. Okay, so the next one we've got what is he is in the Cotton Bowl? I think Cotton Bowl number 5 Oregon is actually a 1.5 point favorite. So against number 4 Texas Tech. This is a noon game uh, on ESPN on New Year's Day. And I don't know. I tend to agree with Vegas. Like I don't know a whole lot about Texas Tech. I know they did. I think their quarterback was hurt in their only loss, but I'm gonna go with landing in the Ducks for this one.
I'm gonna take Oregon in this one,
Yeah,
Jim.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oregon. I haven't even watched a single snap for Texas Tech this year. I'm going to be totally honest. Like, I have no idea about that team at all. But I know Oregon, and I think Oregon.
I'm trying to remember. I I like halfway watched one. Was it BYU or is it who did they lose to? I don't even know. I think it was BYU. Um, whatever that game was. We did like we had it on. Like we had like our multi TV setup going on. So I think that's the kind of like the closest I got to watching any Texas Tech this year. All right, last matchup of the CFP.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it.
And they lost to Arizona State.
I'll see. That's random. Um, okay, so the last matchup we've got Rose Bowl, New Year's Day, 4 p.m. Number 9 Alabama against number 1 Indiana. Indiana 7 point favorite in this one. JP, I feel like you're gonna have opinions on this one.
Indiana is fraudulent. Give me Alabama.
Okay. I I actually am gonna take Alabama as well. I'm with you. I picked Alabama over Oklahoma. I decided that I'm not gonna stop picking Alabama in this playoff until they either lose or face Georgia. Are we off our
Correct.
rocker, Hunter?
Correct.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
always said it was the Alabama Invitational.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing about this game says or feels that Indiana's going to beat Alabama. I don't care what number is next to their name. I don't care what their record is. it's Alabama until they prove me otherwise, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, I know
What I will say,
they're
Jim, what I will say, Jim, is that kind of related to some of the conversations that we had in the past
mhm.
about having these games on campus. If this game was in Bloomington in the snow, like there might be an inkling of opportunity for Indiana there, but on a neutral site, like dome, basically stadium. Where are they playing this game?
The Rose Bowl.
The
This is
Rose
the Rose
Bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect weather. Like whatever. Like I don't see it happening.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Bray Hubbard with the big forced turnover somehow, like he always seems to do. Even though thankfully he didn't do it in the SEC championship game. Um,
I also okay, I've got to correct myself because I'm sure people were screaming at their podcast player of choice. The Miami Ohio State game is the Cotton Bowl. I had my bowls mixed up. And then the Oregon Texas Tech game is the Orange Bowl. The Peach Bowl is a semifinal. So the semis are the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. So I
I
just
was
came
about to
across it and
say.
noticed that. Yeah.
I was about to say when you said that it was New Year's Eve, I was like, I don't remember the Peach Bowl being back on New Year's Eve because
Yeah.
that is one of the like problems with this whole thing is that not only are teams losing tradition, but the bowl games are losing. Like Peach
Yeah.
Bowl was always on New Year's Eve, and that was like a thing that a lot of Atlanta people would do.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah. Well, and then also like let's say we're wrong and Indiana beats Alabama, and then we're right and Oregon beats Texas Tech. You're going to have Oregon playing Indiana in Atlanta while you've got the SEC team that's left
Right.
going and not playing in Atlanta for their semifinal game. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Agreed. I agree. All right. Well, we'll find out in a while. That's the other thing, man. Like I feel like the breaks and like the way this whole thing is set up also seems weird. Like it's a long time between all these games, but even still,
Agreed.
even with having this first round game, it's a long time between the first round and second round. So,
Yeah, we
well,
say that, and then we're sitting here. What was the bowl today? The Boca Raton Bowl, where they're like the winners were stirring Bush's baked beans around.
yeah, that did happen.
Uh,
That did happen.
Amazing.
Uh, all right. Well, Hunter, as you said, the dogs are playing Ole Miss. Had to have you on. Hey, and that's on the schedule again next season. So we
Hmm.
continue to play each
Yeah,
other.
we keep doing this. I went from, the first however many years of my introduction to Georgia and Georgia fandom, they never played each other. And now the they're making me reckon for my dual citizenship fandom here by playing every year and playing in a playoff now. The only
Uh,
way this could be worse is if they were playing in the national championship game.
right. Yeah. Seriously.
Meanwhile,
That'd
we
be
still
brutal.
haven't gone to College Station.
Right.
For sure. All right. Well, you guys both go represent down there. So we'll be watching from home. But you guys go down there and have a big time.
Yeah, we got to link up on our logistics.
Yes, yes. Ocean Springs is on the way to New Orleans from Georgia. All my Georgia people who are not flying highly recommend Ocean Springs. I mean,
Yes.
it's my shameless plug moment, but you won't find a better coastal small town. You won't.
I was telling Jim I was hoping that we might roll through in the evening to see like the Ocean Springs lights in the downtown area. Um, However, I was curious, is Tato Nut even open in the evening?
No, they are only open in the day.
Ah, well, if we end up rolling through in the evening, which I imagine is probably what's going to happen, I may have to do an order through you to bring some Tato Nut to the tailgate.
Hey, I can do that. Yeah, we can make that happen. They're doing like Sugar Bowl. I saw on their Instagram page they're doing Sugar Bowl things where they do themed donut platters because they make little donut holes.
Ooh,
And so they do the whole big platter with donut holes and then they decorate them with different colored icings. Of course, they're doing all red and blue right now for Sugar Bowl for Ole Miss. But
that's funny.
you could get you some uh, red and black. I could get them to do it.
Quick opinions on New Orleans. Like, where do we need to go? What's the beignet situation?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. In the last 5, 6 years, we've kind of stopped going over to New Orleans. It's kind of become too much. Uh, we used to go a lot. Well, like we got married in New Orleans, got engaged in New Orleans. We used to go to New Orleans a lot, but
Then you had kids.
yeah. So I guess
Is Cafe Du Monde worth the hype?
no, it's a tourist trap. It's not even like a local family that owns it anymore. They like got bought out by random people.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. We went to a Saints game a couple weeks ago, but we just kind of went over for the day and we didn't stay for the whole game because the Saints were awful. But uh yeah, not a good New Orleans recommendation guy. But if you wanna get in the greater like Gulf Coast area, about an hour to an hour and a half from New Orleans. Um, like I said, Ocean Springs is great, but closer to New Orleans, Pass Christian doesn't really have anything, but right across the bridge is Bay St. Louis. Bay St. Louis is very comparable to Ocean Springs. A lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, nice area downtown. Um, I guess you go to like Slidell if you like going to like Target and Marshalls and all that, but they got the Dirty Dillards there. We call it the Dirty Dillards, where they get all the deals for all the big sales. Um,
That's
Other than
funny.
that, man, we just stay on the Mississippi side of the line. That's the best thing I can tell you.
It suddenly starts smelling like corn dogs. You've gone too far.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be trying Jim, I think we talked about this in a previous episode, the chicory or whatever it's called. Uh the special coffee that they have down there.
Yeah, it's
Oh
good.
yeah.
It's pretty good. We can get it here at the local store. I've gotten a couple cans of it before.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get to link up. I'll definitely keep you posted as we make our journey down.
Yep, sounds good. Hey, and anybody that's coming down, just hit me up on Twitter if you need any recommendations if you're coming through the coast, or if you want to meet up downtown. I know some good spots. We can get a Georgia group together. It's always nice to have some dogs around. I think the last time um, and I was really surprised actually. Georgia had a road trip this way. They played LSU in Baton Rouge. It didn't end up being a good game for Georgia, but that whole weekend, man, there was all kind of Georgia fans in Ocean Springs and in
Mm.
Biloxi at the casinos, and um, highly recommend staying in Biloxi at the casinos if you got some comps or anything like that. It is an easy drive over to New Orleans, and it's much nicer than staying in New Orleans.
Now you tell me.
Hunter's got the Rex.
Yeah, they've even got a train now. The Amtrak. They got a Mardi Gras Amtrak that goes across the coast to New Orleans and back every day. So just you can catch the train to New Orleans and back from Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula.
I did look at doing the train, but it's almost as expensive to fly.
Mm,
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you back on, and hope you and the family have a Merry Christmas. Jim, you and the family have a Merry Christmas, and
Likewise.
go dogs.
go dogs.
Go dogs.